Israel Hour Radio, Purim Sameach from the Israel Hour, and I'm so thrilled to talk to our next guest. He is one of Israel's top singers, songwriters, performers. He is into fashion, he's into movies, he has simply done it all. He has the kind of career that most other artists can only dream about. IVRI LIDER, it is so exciting to talk to you. Welcome to Israel Hour Radio.
Hello, I'm very excited too, and happy Purim.
Happy Purim to you.
And yeah.
So this is the first time we're talking to you, and we're so happy, but we've never really had the chance to ask you about your history, and I know that your musical history is simply no less than incredible. I know it can go on for hours, but tell me a little bit about your biography and how you got to where you are today.
Well, I started playing classical piano when I was 5, and then I never stopped. I was a pianist playing classical music throughout my childhood, and later, around the age of like 12, I think, I started making electronic music and playing a lot with synthesizers, and going a lot more into like modern electronic music and also pop music, and which led me to art school in Israel, in Ramat Shron. And there I discovered jazz, and I started playing a lot of jazz piano, and started writing music for modern dance and for film and theater and stuff like that, which I was really into. And doing pop music also all the time as I was doing other stuff. And then it just developed from there. Started singing my own songs because I wasn't at the beginning. I was just playing and producing and writing. And then I started singing my own stuff, and that's when I got my contract with the big record label for the first time, and released my first album almost exactly 20 years ago.
Wow.
And yeah, since then I released 10 albums. And I'm very happy I get to do this.
I can imagine. Now, I read that you got your first recording contract by sending a demo tape to Helicon Records. Is that all? That's all you did?
Yeah,
You sent a tape in the mail, and they got back to you and said, "Yeah, we want you."
Yeah, that's actually true. It's like it's a bit like a movie, because it doesn't really happen usually when you just an artist actually sends a cassette over the mail, and the record label calls and says, "Well, we listened to the cassette. We like it. Let's meet."
Right.
But that's actually how it was. And yeah, I remember being very surprised maybe back then.
That's really amazing. Really amazing. You said you've had 10 albums, and I know better than to ask an artist which is their favorite. But if you had to choose one or two or three songs, could you tell me which were the biggest successes in Israel?
Wow, it's actually a really hard question, and
I know.
I deal with people who follow my music know that my albums are very diverse. They can be very gentle and piano oriented, and like piano and orchestra and stuff like that. And other albums can be very electronic, dancey, up-tempo kind of music. So, I do both. I think I would definitely name songs like Zachiti Le'ehov, which became this, I don't know, like love anthem.
Right.
It's a ballad. It's like about our privilege to experience love and be loved in our life. And it became like this song that people are getting married to, and once in a while the people invite me to their weddings, and so I'll play the song on the piano while they're coming in, and stuff like that, which is great for me because as an artist, to think that I wrote something from my experiences and my mind and my heart that people actually wanna use in their most private and important moments in their life it's very, very exciting. That's why I always feel pretty lucky to be able to do that. So I would definitely name this song. On the other side, I have a song like The Blue Glass or something like that, which is much more like up tempo and rocky, and so yeah, it's a hard thing to choose.
Of course. You better be careful, Ivri, because you're going to have people calling you and asking you to come to their weddings while you're here in the United States next month.
That can happen. It's not impossible.
All right. For our listeners, you should know. Get in touch with Ivri.
Anywhere. Nothing is impossible.
Okay, wonderful. Tell me about the XFactor. Are you still on the XFactor?
I am on the XFactor, and we're gonna shoot a new season starting June, I think. We're starting the third season, and I'm gonna be on it. Yeah.
And what's that like? What's it like to listen to new talent and judge new talent and mentor new talent? What's that experience been like for you?
To be honest, I loved it. The 2 seasons I did, I really enjoyed it. It's very exciting. Not even even when I'm not on X Factor, I'm a producer at heart, so I kind of like hearing new people and looking for new talents all the time. This year I opened my own label inside Helicon, my own little label inside the big label that I can sign new talent and work with new artists, which is something I really love doing. So for me, sitting there and hearing all those people sing, it's hard to find really talented people, but when you do, there's magic in it. It's very magical. And then actually to get to work with them during the show and watch them grow and try and help them, and try to guide them in that, because it's a hard process, It's to go on a show like that and suddenly be very famous, but understanding that it's also a blessing, but it's also really hard and kind of dangerous, and you have to know how to work it, and you have to know how to continue and be an artist, right? And for everything that it's worth and for everything that it involves. So for me, I feel like I really enjoy doing it. I almost feel like it's an important thing to do.
And probably the next step of your musical career, giving back to those who you can help out, is terrific.
Oh yeah, man! It's a good feeling, when you work. For example, I signed a really talented kid named Idan, which is actually American. He lived in New York, and he came to live in Israel. And then, a couple months after, he came to the X Factor, and he auditioned, and he went on to be on my team with a band on the first season of X Factor. And then I signed him to my label and worked with him. And, to watch this kid grow musically is amazing, from a kid who loved singing to a 20-year-old guy today that is writing amazing songs. And he's on the Army band now. And we're working towards his first album. And, it's amazing to see and to have an impact and to be part of. It's great.
That's really fantastic. So your latest album is a collaboration with Ofer Meiri, who I hadn't heard of before. Tell me about Ofer and tell me about the new album.
Yeah. First of all, Ofer, I think anyone who's interested in Israeli music should check out Ofer, because he's an amazing musician. And a very important one here. He produced huge albums in Israel during the 90s and since then. He's one of the most important commercial composers and producers here, and a great person that I really feel like I found a unique person and a good friend. So I just went to him to produce this one song, and our connection was so strong and so good for us that we ended up writing a whole album together and then saying, okay, why not just release a project together? So this is what we did. So it's basically this thing. I never did it before, here to write an album with someone like that and, to release it like that. It was a very unique experience. And I feel a very good one. So I'm open for that now in my life, you know. And when you meet someone who's also very open and very, very talented, it's it's a great feeling.
And along the same lines, you've collaborated with some of Israel's top singers. You've written songs for them. Do you
Yeah.
write differently when you're writing for another artist than when you're writing for yourself? How was the process for you?
Um. Well, actually, for me, I did. I worked with, I produced the album for Rita, and I produced the album for Sharon Haziz and
Right.
some other people, and uh, I usually write a song like in general, and then think, okay, this is very good for this or that artist. I didn't write a lot, especially for someone else. I did a few times, but not a lot. I think it's a different process, but at the end of the day, I try to write something that I love and I think is very good. And then I try to find a singer who I think his personality and output will will elevate the song to like a new level and can give the song something that sometimes I can't. And that will be for me exciting to hear him sing it. So for example, like when I wrote the song for Sarit Haddad, so for me giving her that song was very interesting because I thought that if people will listen to her singing it, it'll give the lyrics a new dimension. And that was the reason why I felt it's a good idea to give it to her. So I don't do it a lot, but when I do it, that's what I look for.
Wow, fascinating. There's so much, you're such an interesting person and you have such a long career in music. We're going to have you back because there's so much I want to talk to you about. But let me ask
Yeah,
you,
I would love to.
let me ask you about your U.S. tour. You're going to be in New York on March 29th, in Palo Alto on March 30th, San Diego on April 1st, and April 2nd in Los Angeles, April 4th in Boston. Tell us what you have in store for us in those great concerts. And to what extent are your concerts different here in the United States than they are in Israel? Are they different than they are in Israel?
Well, I think they are a bit different because of the audience. I think audience in a concert, no matter where and what concert. I think the audience is always important and always very influential on how the concert goes. So I think there's a bit of a different vibe, even for us coming to the venue, traveling from Israel to another country. So it gives us a different vibe. So there's something different about it for us as artists. And I have to say that what we're doing is a whole new show, especially for this tour, because we wanted to do a special like scaled down version, more intimate show for the States, so we can travel with. That's what the producer asked us for. So we decided to do something that we didn't do yet. I'm doing rehearsals with my keyboard player, and we creating the show was based mainly on two pianos playing, some computer, some keyboards, but it's basically two keyboard players, two pianists, and a computer playing songs, kind of like how they were written. And this is new for us also, which is very exciting actually, because it's not like a show that we've been doing a lot. It's something special. So it's special for this tour and special for the U.S. So that's kind of interesting.
Well, we can't wait to see you. IVRI Leader, if you want to see IVRI, you can go to TEEV.com for all the details and tickets. That's TEEV.com if you'd like to see IVRI Leader in any one of his 5 United States appearances. It's very, very exciting. IVRI, like I said, there's so much more that we can ask you, but we don't have that much time. So I just want to ask, what are your future plans? You've done so much. What is next in your career?
Well, this year is going to be a lot about XFactor and continuing my shows here because we're in the middle of of a huge tour here for the last year and a half. I'm doing Caesarea, big show here in May 25th, and traveling a little bit, all kinds of places. Writing some new music now, so I guess releasing stuff during the year. There's a talk about scoring a new movie, so I would love to do that because it's been a while since I did that, and I really want to because I love it. So yeah, a lot of exciting new music.
Well, you're an amazing performer, and we love what you do, and we can't wait to see you here in the States. And thank you so much for talking to us. It's also great to talk to you because your English is so great. So it's great to have you on. IVRI Leader, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to speak to you again soon.
Thank you, guys.